Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful and beneficent. Today we are going to discuss once again. It is the third project of this class, Microsoft Excel Expert, and basically this project is basically designed for a company which involves these actions by these entities producing such results. We have a couple of other reports which we will inshallah design in a couple of days. It is I think just a 12 sheet project, and it can exceed up to 30 sheets. So the first problem here is that we needed a cash purchase, that there should be a form whenever we purchase something on cash or cash purchases, so it should be entered there. As we can see that we have this form, and it is a dynamic form completely full of formulas. It is not a complete project, once again I'm telling you, therefore it is missing some of the buttons. There should be a return button here which should return to the main form once again. Then we have credit purchase. Basic credit purchase, it is basically linked with the account payables, that whenever we purchase something on credit, so automatically in accounting we study that whenever we purchase something on credit, so payables are increasing. Payables in general we call it wajibul ata wa qajat, and these are basically associated to the vendors. Most of the time they are associated with the vendors. If there is something cash credit, then it won't be something like, it could be a bank, it could be something else. But in general cases, whenever it is associated with purchase or things which are purchased for the purpose of reselling, so they are automatically associated with credit purchase, and credit purchases result in total payables of each and every single vendor or supplier. Then we have something like cash sale. Suppose if we sell something on cash, in accounting whenever we have something sold on cash, so the record is not entered in the books because the record is not maintained. Commonly there is a bit confusion in the statement. The transaction is passed in the sense of credit and debit, but commonly it does not result any we can say balance sheet entry. Credit sale, basically a sale for which we should have a record, that how much account receivables for each and every single customers do we have. And after this, the most complicated part was the stock, because most of the students, they were asking that, sir, whenever we purchase something on cash and purchase something on credit, so the stock should increase. As we can see in various softwares like Wipro and QuickBook, whenever you purchase something, so automatically the stock increases. But whenever we sell something, and on whether it is cash or credit, so automatically the stock should decrease. And one of our very brilliant teacher, they told them that it is impossible in Excel. In fact, it is possible in Microsoft Excel by doing update queries, but unfortunately there should be some misunderstanding between the students and the teacher. It is possible in Excel if we have records. For example, I have cash purchase, I have credit purchase, I have cash sale, I have credit sale, and at the end we have stock. And by having a formula like this is a formula I written only for extracting all the record, for adding all the record whether it is from cash purchase or credit purchase, and subtracting all the records whether they are from credit sale or cash sale. And this is a dynamic formula, and dynamic in the sense that it could be a simple formula, but it is dynamic in the case that whenever you enter a new entry, so automatically it will accept the new entry, it will not stop. For example, if I go to cash purchases, and in cash purchases I come here and write, suppose on this date, which employee, so I have a list of employees and it is automatically updatable. For example, if a new employee comes, so it will automatically be added to the list. We will not add it, automatically Microsoft Excel will do it for us. Kaiser, and he purchased what? Mouse. Before purchasing it, let us first check that what is our current stock. So for mouse we have 115. Suppose if I purchase 10 mouses, for example, I would say 10 mouses, so it says 1200. That is the total payment which is about to be made by us, but we are concerned with the quantity. So as we can see that in the stock it was 115 and now it is 125. And similarly, if you purchase something on credit, it means qarz. So if you enter the entry, for example, if I write on this very date, our which customer, Abad, it is basically the name, and from which vendor, it is basically not customer, excuse me, it was employee, somehow mistyped. Which of our employee purchased from which of our vendors which product, mouse. Once again, because it is the same entity, the current stock at that time was 125 and right now it should be 135 because we purchased something on credit. And similarly, if we sell something on cash, for example, I am selling something on cash and the good name was mouse, 120, the price automatic, let's say there are 10, so if I sell 10 out of them, so automatically 125. And if I come to credit sale, and for example on this very date, my customer, which customer, Abad, from which employee, from Nabi, which product, mouse, how many, 25 pieces were purchased, 25 of the quantity, and automatically you can see that only 100 are left. And similarly we can have all, and this small piece of formula, as you can see that whenever we enter some new record, so automatically it adds the new record according to the entity included right here. So that was a basic function of stock. Some of the students were confused with the formula. As in the class I have explained the formula completely regarding every aspect. There are 3-dimension functions, and like offset, we have here offset, as well as we have a sum f offset, there's a combination of sum f and offset, as well as there is an is blank, etc. There are various other aspects which I have discussed in great detail and there is no need. So inshallah in the next lecture we will be dealing with the expenses, that how whenever we enter some expense, it is automatically accumulated to the salary sheet. In general, whenever there is an employee and he makes an expense, for example he took out an advance of rupees 500 on date 1, on date 2 he came and took out rupees 300 once again for books, and then for medicine, and similarly for general purpose, etc, etc. So all the expenses of a very certain employee, they will be automatically totalized, they will be accumulated where, in the expenses amount right here, from here up to the salary right here, and it will show accumulated expense, which is also a formula used for accumulation. And we will be discussing with the current issues of the market, as there is something which is called the basic pay, as well as there is something called the commission rate. Then how can we include the commission rate in the salary? And it will totally be dependent upon the cash sale, that how much you have sold out on cash, and regarding the credit sale, that how much have you sold on the credit. So that was the basic phenomena regarding the trainer index and multi-dimensional function. We will be dealing in the next lecture, inshallah. If you were there with a couple of other problems like total receivables, and when the receivables are received, for example we have here something known as 13,800 receivable from Khan. So who is Khan? Commonly if you come to credit sale, and because receivables are commonly for credit sale, and there is a person Khan, so we have 600 and then 12,000, and then once again we have 1200. So automatically it will sum up to 13,800. As you can see, Excel is automatically prompting me. So the total receivable can be seen here. So it is also a dynamic function, which inshallah with a very short definition it can be guided through. So see you in the next lecture inshallah.